Hey, welcome to Guitar Knobs, the guitars, gear, noise, and nonsense podcast, hosted today by these knobs.
Tony Dudzik, Pick Guardian.
Jared Brandon with Brandon Wound Pickups.
Hey, everybody, it's me, Todd Novak. Welcome to the Guitar Knobs podcast. We are thrilled that you are joining us for this delicious ride on our show. We're going to have a great time talking about, what are we going to talk about tonight, Tony?
We like to talk about gear and the people who make the gear, and specifically boutique gear. And that would be stuff like guitars and amps and pedals and accessories and occasionally cables and all the good stuff.
Correctamundo. What else, Jared?
We learn stuff with the 101 episodes, and we learn about amp stuff, pickup stuff.
All the
stuff
things
we need to learn about, that you may not know.
All the stuff.
Basic food.
What I think we're going to learn about something else tonight, not in a 101, but with a nice guest here. Guest, who are you?
I am Gil Divine with Divine Noise. We make cables.
Right. And some mighty fine cables. Now, these are the cables we've talked about in the past, several times on the show, actually.
Oh, really?
This is the famed 50-50 half coily cable. It's fantastic.
Wow.
So we're going to hear about Gil's backstory. I think he's got a relatively interesting one. And obviously, we're going to find out more about these fantastic cables that he makes. And you can go, where can people go check out what you make right now?
They can go to divinenoise.com, and we're on Instagram and, all the social media stuff. But divinenoise.com is pretty much the best.
Right on. And if you're doubting it at all, check out the artist list because go gunk. So let's see here. What should we talk? Oh yeah, we got some announcements. Let's do that. Oh wait, actually, by the way, I just was chatting with Jeff Schroeder. He said hi.
Oh,
Hey,
wait, to me or?
Yeah, to you, Gil.
Oh, hi, Jeff.
Directly to Gil.
Yeah, he bypassed all you two clowns.
he didn't say hi to me.
Yeah, no, he did.
Oh, okay.
I think he's sending you some flowers, and I think he's sending Jared a steak.
That's my guy.
We have some announcements to make.
That's right, and we're gonna start with. That's right, Rode mics. Thank you so much, Rode mics, for providing our audio equipment, the Rodecaster Pro and the Procaster mics with articulating arms. We love them. They work fantastic, so easy to use. And here's a little tidbit, everybody. There is a new there's a new show in the Marvel Network or whatever it is. There's a new show. I'm sure many people have seen it already. Do you guys know what show I'm talking about? It's called WandaVision.
I wonder who watches it.
So I was over there working on an episode, and this has to do with Rode. I am tying this to Rode. I'm working on an episode. I'm not really watching it because I'm not particularly into it. I just happened to poke my head up over my monitor, and I see the intro scene where this guy's like basically controlling this television universe thing. And I'm looking at it, and from like 30 feet away, I said, "That's the Rodecaster Pro." and I said, "Stop, pause, go back." And I walked up and I go, "That's what I make my podcast on." And they're like,
cool.
"Why are you ruining it?"
It took you 10 minutes to explain that, right?
But it was worth it.
Sounds like a Jared story.
Yep,
Yeah.
You pulled a Jared.
I'm learning slowly. So anyways, yes, huge thanks and congratulations on getting your product on a Marvel entity. That's pretty fun.
Yeah, that's got to be some pricey product placement.
Yeah. I also want to point out we had two little things I wanted to share. I got a note from Adam Johnson, one of our executive producers. He said, yes, hello, Adam. He says, "Hello, gentlemen. I just listened to the recent episode with 37 effects. Great episode. Thank you. I reached out to Doug just to say hello and found he lives 10 minutes from me." Just want to say thanks for what you guys are doing in the gear community. So that's cool. Those guys are going to probably meet up and have some
donuts,
some fun, some East Coast fun, whatever. I don't know what that means. But anyways,
East Coast?
Massachusetts fun.
Yeah, probably lobster.
They'll probably all just say Jared the whole time.
Some Dunkin' Donuts.
Probably will.
Yeah, exactly. Dunkin' Donuts with Jared.
That's a coffee I drink every morning.
We're gonna mosey on forward, and we're gonna find out what's going on in our music worlds this week, guys.
Yes.
So Tony's gonna kick us off, and then we're gonna shuffle over to Washington, up in the Portland area, and hear from Gil.
Yay!
Well, let's see. So this week, I think a couple episodes back, we were talking about taking game controllers or game things like the Scooby-Doo van and
with Cascade pedals.
With Cascade pedals. And as I said, I picked up a couple on eBay, and they finally came in, and I started tearing into them, cutting out the battery compartments and everything like that. And I'm shocked at how much space is available in these things. And our good friend John Esterly is going to assist me with the guts of it and the layout and all that fun stuff. So I was able to get a Millennium Falcon, which will become a Millennium Fuzz.
Nice.
I got one of the Scooby-Doo games that's like the Mystery Machine van.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to become the Scooby-Dooby Drive.
Nice.
What else was there? There was the Thomas the Tank Engine, and that's going to be Thomas the Treble Boost. And the best one is supposed to hit this week. It's a Darth Vader controller.
Mm-hmm.
That is going to become the Darth Phaser.
Nice.
So clever.
I'm so clever.
So clever.
I like it.
But so the sad thing is, these things are still plastic, and they're not going to, they're
You're gonna
certainly
crush
not.
them.
Yeah, they're not roadworthy, but they're going to look pretty cool. So I'm excited about that, and it's always fun to work with John and get his take on things and figure out.
I got an idea, my friend.
What's that?
I got an idea. When you're done putting all the electronics in it, just fill the whole thing up with
epoxy.
Yes, I was going to say tar because I couldn't remember epoxy because everybody calls tar, epoxy tar on the tar bags.
Yeah.
But yeah, fill the whole thing up with epoxy and it should be pretty solid.
Yeah, actually, that would make sense. My only concern is the foot switch and stomping down.
It should be protected for the most part.
Yeah, I think what I'm gonna do is use a soft switch instead of a hard crunch.
Yeah, there you go.
There it
That'll
is.
help a little.
That's my jam, baby.
Yeah, that's what I'm.
You can run it over with a car after you're done.
So I will keep everyone posted as to how those come out, but I'm excited about that little projects.
Nice. I like it. Well, let's hear from Gil. What's going on in your music world?
My music world. I've been making other people's cables. I'm still in the Christmas rush. So I've been stuck working long hours, and so that's the only gear related thing I've been working on is work. Although there is a guitar, Silvertone 1446, that I'm thinking about pulling a trigger on, but I don't know if I need another guitar. So
you always need
that's
another
sacrilege.
I know it is. Yeah. So that's really about it. I haven't picked up a guitar in probably over a week.
The 1446, is that the one that has metal binding on it, or am I thinking of a different model? I think of is it the Chris Isaak model?
It is the Chris Isaak model. Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So yeah, those are very cool guitars.
They are. I'm always kind of sketched about ordering stuff online, and I mean it comes from one of our dealers, one of one of our dealers, so I totally trust them. But I like to play things before I buy them. I don't know. I guess stuck in my ways a little bit.
Sure.
Because I know people like buying online. I'll probably end up buying it.
Yeah,
because
I think you should.
I know.
That's an interesting thing, though. I was considering this the other day, actually, which is like the idea of, shopping for a guitar online versus shopping, like going in and picking it up and playing it and da-da-da-da. Like, I think if you're really, really familiar with the guitar that or the type of guitar, you're probably going to get what you expect to some degree. But if you're not, then, you won't. But it also is like connecting with the guitar. There's some about that, if you pick up a friend's guitar or you pick up a guitar that you want, you're like, oh, this one's got this one's talking to me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I've played a lot of guitars, and I played a lot of the same model of guitars,
sure.
I should say. And some have a feeling to them. Some have
or no feeling, even worse.
Exactly.
I mean, that's
exactly. Sometimes you bond with a guitar, sometimes you don't.
Yeah.
And it could be the same model of guitar that you bond with. It's an individual thing.
Mm-hmm.
And one of our requirements to be a Divine Noise dealer is that you must have a brick and mortar store, because I
like that.
I want other people to value that relationship you have with your local guitar store.
Yeah.
And the way the world's going now, it's
becoming rarer and rarer. That's hard to say, by the way. Jared's mentioned this many, many times on the podcast. I think Tony shares the same opinion, but I think Jared's been more vocal about the brick and mortar thing.
It is always nice, and it's really funny. I mean, if you go back through time, the mom and pop stores were the only way to buy instruments back, going back into the 60s, 70s, and even into the 80s. And then, the giant stores started opening up across the country and pushed the mom and pop stores out. And now we're kind of seeing a reversal of that now, because it's some of those giant stores have financial problems. There's still some very cool specialty shops that are opening up, and I'm excited about that, because I'm definitely in agreement. It's nice to support a local business, and especially somebody that's likes music gear enough to roll the dice and open up a store.
Absolutely.
Yep. I
Such
think
a gamble these days.
Going into a big box store, every time you go in there, there's a new face behind the counter. You don't know that person. And I'm not saying this about everyone that works there, but you can kind of tell it's just fake trained hospitality.
Yeah. It's a job.
You go into your buddies, like I have a buddy that owns a guitar shop in my hometown. I'll go up when I go there to visit family. Pre-COVID. I'll go into the store, and it's like being home. It's like going to a family member's house, because I know the person. Yeah. I'm very close with them. They know me. They'll call me if something really cool comes in that they know that I'll buy, and I'll pay the price without haggling with him, because I want to support him. And
totally,
and I think those are really healthy kind of relationships. In my opinion, and it's very rewarding. So
yeah,
totally. Yeah, I have no problem paying more money going and supporting a small independently owned shop. I have big conflicts with buying from Amazon, and I will never do business with a Guitar Center,
it's also kind of if then and you go directly to you.
We get a lot of sales. People do buy directly from us, but I always tell people, go to the dealers. They're the one that's they're taking the chance. Support them. Mm-hmm. Don't offer our cables. Don't offer sales on our cables, because we don't. We've never had a sale in the 12 years we've been in business, and we never will. So I don't want that.
You're right there with Levi's and Ray-Ban. Gee, many Christmas. Keeping good company.
Yeah, well, I just, I make every cable, so I don't want someone cheapening my labor or cheapening our product. And man, this got way off topic.
That's okay. We were just before we started, we were talking about we've got NAMM coming. The NAMM announcements happened, and all of the guitar switchboards across the country lit up. And we started talking about that, and I'm personally really, really excited for next January. But we were talking about the experience of specifically the Nashville NAMM experience, where we went there, but we also spent like 2 days just going to all the guitar shops because the concentration of it doesn't exist anywhere else. I mean, it just, I at least I don't think it does. Maybe I'm wrong, but
there's some
New York's got quite a few still, like in a, you can get to them in a day for sure.
Chicago's got some great shops. Really
true. Yes.
But when you go to Southern California, you're not. That's kind of
you got to drive forever to get to anywhere.
Yeah, it's the land of Guitar Center, and there's Guitar Centers everywhere, and if you're into that, they're around there. But I'd much rather go to a place like Nashville or Chicago or New York, just
spend an hour and a half just looking at every single thing in Carter Vintage. Like that's worth the price of gas to drive there to do that. So, or Rumble Seat, or pick a shop, East Side Music Supply. It's like it's fantastic. So, anyways, so why don't we shift over to find out what Jared's been doing besides hustling on awesome pickups.
I mean, I got a new project that I got on
another one.
Yeah.
Oh, he's a project dude.
I could not help myself. I love the SG. And
really?
I love.
Well, I mean, I know you love the SG. You got like 7 of them.
So my first, I've sold some of those.
Okay.
My first SG when I was 16 was like a 1973, 74. And those were made.
Is that when they started making like the walnut colored ones?
Yes.
Yeah.
Those were, mine was cherry though.
Okay.
But that's when they were really spitting them out of the factory. They weren't. The standards were actually done pretty well. Those were quality guitars.
Mm-hmm.
The standards were, and the one I had was a tank. It was great. I was looking at a project on it. It was just a husk, so just the body,
the carcass.
And, the carcass.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a custom going for like $700.
Mm.
So it was an SG custom. So what that means is it has the diamond inlay. It has the binded headstock, diamond inlay in the headstock, kind of like a Les Paul custom,
mm-hmm.
and had nice big square inlays binding on the neck, and then a body with comes with the 3 pickups.
That sounds pretty cool looking.
Yeah.
So it's like the original Les Paul SG.
Yeah.
It was 62.
Yes. Yeah. But this one had a stop tail. So I'm like, all my SGs that I have, none of them have stop tails. So I'm like, this is a really cool. But the one thing I didn't like about it is, 2 things. I didn't like the headstock repair, but that's why it was going for so cheap. Mm. And then the color was that walnut.
Mm.
Me no likey the walnut.
Really?
I hate walnut.
There's something kind of cool about that one.
Yeah, not. It's cool if it's on an acoustic. It's cool if it's on an acoustic guitar,
right? Or if you're in like Foghat or something.
Put a bunch of stickers on it. But anyway,
if you like changing baby diapers.
Yes, that's what it reminds me of. So I picked it up for under 13, so which is really cheap. One of those with all the original parts on it that's in okay condition, go anywhere from 3,000 to 5,000. So
Wow, Jesus.
yeah, 5. Oh, if it's really clean, maybe in the 6,000s.
Wow.
So Jared, are you going to share with your thoughts on what you would like to do with this guitar?
Oh, I know what I'm doing with it. It's going to be purple sparkle, baby.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I'm not going original color.
That's really cool.
Yeah, I'm not. Another fun fact about those, I don't know if anybody remembers what the harmonica bridges look like.
Yeah.
And I think when I was talking to Tony, for some dumb reason, I called it a banjo bridge. But it's called a harmonica bridge because it's really, really wide. It looks like a harmonica.
Is that the Nashville Bridge?
It's right before the Nashville Bridge.
Okay.
It's if you look up harmonica bridge, like Gibson Les Paul or Gibson SG harmonica bridge, you'll be like, what?
Yeah, it's a big rectangular bridge that has
It's
slots in it, and it just it's definitely it's a big honking piece of metal.
Yeah,
That'll look cool.
It's almost as big as the golden ticket in the Chocolate Factory movie.
Oh yeah. I totally know those bridges.
Yeah, so not gonna put one of those on there. I'll probably just go with I'll go with a Nashville on that. So probably Gold Hardware, Nashville Bridge, Purple Sparkle.
Like it's going to be the Prince SG. Jiminy Christmas.
Yes.
Gold Hardware and a Purple Sparkle.
Well, you've seen Jared's Prince tribute, haven't you?
Actually, G.E. Smith inspired me to get that. I remember seeing G.E. Smith on SNL in the 90s, and he had a Purple Sparkle Jazzmaster he was playing. So I'll always remember that. And you only had like a few seconds to look at the band play before it went to commercial.
Right. Well, Jared likes the Purple Sparkle.
I do.
That's cool. Yeah. That's fun. That's great. Yeah, you don't have to. I think that one of the cool things about you picking that one up, even if it has a headstock repair, as long as it works, is that you don't have to worry about like, oh, am I ruining it if I change anything?
They already ruined it when it was brand new in the color of walnut. So.
That's the great thing about buying, carcasses is that you can make it exactly how you want it, and you don't have to worry about, making it.
There's no reason to pay for, overpriced, overinflated original parts for that thing anyway.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, the guitar should do what you want, or they should work how you want. That's I can't see ever buying a pristine vintage guitar. It's just I don't want to have to worry about it.
Right, you want to play it.
Want to play it. I want to beat it, and I don't want to worry about a scratch, and or I don't want to worry about, oh, is this original? Just play it, and if it sounds good, then that's kind of the important thing to me.
Yeah, exactly. That reminds me of something. I saw a post today. I can't remember. Somebody was working on. It was I think it was like a. Was it like it was TV Yellow Junior, like from what is Tony knows the age on, was what, 50.
Late 50s.
Late 50s, yeah, 50, whatever. And this thing was like in pretty rough, the body was in very, very used condition, but it was still super, super cool. And one of the coolest things on it, and I had to zoom in, I was like, is that what I think it is? It looked like an old school desk that someone who was like in detention had carved their name on.
Awesome.
And it wasn't huge, and it was just kind of there. And I was like, I mean, that absolutely made that so special. And it's not even mine. I was like, I love that guitar automatically. Right now, the hilarious thing is think about yourself bringing yourself to do that to one of your guitars. That's ludicrous. Who's going to do that? But somebody did back then. And that's super cool.
Yeah. I have a 72 Les Paul Gold Top that someone routed. I bought it as a carcass, and someone had routed out a third pickup in the center. They were obviously an Ace Frehley fan because they also they carved a star in the headstock. So
that's cool. I mean, that's kind of fun. You got something.
I filled it in. It's been filled in, and
I wouldn't like that.
Yeah, but it's one of my favorite guitars.
That's cool. Now, let me ask you guys, is there a place, since we're talking about carcasses, I don't know that everybody knows how or where to look for those, because I think it's an exciting thing. I'm very interested in this subject right now. Last week I was talking about my birthday coming up, and they're like, oh, you should get a guitar for your year. And I started looking, I was like, well, only if I sell my car, both of them. So a carcass is something I can maybe get into. Where would you guys tell people to go look for that kind of stuff?
I mean, I usually go to eBay. There's a couple of sellers that I deal with, and if there's a particular instrument type you want, like Gibson Project or Gibson neck body, do a search for that. Reverb usually has a couple of sellers on there too that, it's kind of, some people are real uptight about what some of these sellers do, which is to take a guitar and take it apart and part out, the pickups and the metal parts and the tuners and everything else. But I kind of look at it as an opportunity to be able to, I think, as Gil said, put something back together the way that you want it, with the pickups you want, with the tuning machines and the bridge and everything that you want, and usually at a much reduced price. I've done it a dozen times, maybe more.
That's great.
It's the way I used to look for guitars. I don't know where to to do that now. I mean, I did a lot of my buying and looking and shopping for carcasses in the mid 90s, where I'd go to an old guitar store that does repairs. They always have stuff that's piled in the back room. That's where I used to get it.
I mean, back in the 90s, you could still buy. I mean, that first SG I was talking about earlier, heck, I paid $500 and it was in mint condition. Now you can't touch something like that for less than, $2,500.
Yeah.
I mean, back in the 90s, you could still get really good stuff for cheap.
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess in hindsight,
This is reminding me that I was speaking with some folks from a place called on Instagram. They've got a thing called Sonic_Artifacts, and it's a new podcast that they're doing. And it says, hey, love what you do and have been a fan of your podcast for a while. Thank you. My friend and I started up a gear podcast highlighting the best deals in NYC and LA on the used market. New show every Tuesday. So one of them's obviously in LA and one of them's in New York, I think.
Okay.
But that's, talking about finding, weird, wild, good deals. That might be something to check out. That's Sonic Artifacts. Thanks for dropping us a line, guys, and good luck on your show.
Yeah, that's a great opportunity if you're around there.
Indeed-a-roni. Let's see. Moving on to me.
How about you, Todd?
Well, thank you, Tony. I had the delightful opportunity not only to visit my good friend Tony in person at the door. We exchange gear all the time, and I said, Tony, I'm thinking about some different pickup stuff, and do you have something with like a TV Jones and a solid body? And he says, duh. So I came over and he brought out a case and I got to go home. And so I was playing with that. It was really interesting. I hadn't played one before. I'd never played a TV Jones. Sorry, everybody. Tony, can you just tell anybody who may not be familiar with the TV Jones pickup, can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Well, yeah, Tom Jones, who is the TV in TV Jones, his whole niche of pickups were Filtertrons, and in fact, Gretsch hired Tom to redesign the D'Armond style pickups for their Japanese line when they first started putting those style of pickups in that. The Gretsch custom shop and most of the upper end models use TV Jones Filtertrons, not just, Gretsch pickups in their guitars. So he's kind of like the Filtertron Gretsch style pickup guru. He also makes high-low-trons.
What's a high-low-tron?
High-low-tron was kind of it's essentially the same shape as a Filtertron, but it's a single coil pickup.
Mm. So the humbucker would be like a goodbye-tron. That was terrible. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. I was sitting on that. I was like, what can I do? Think fast, Todd. I thought fast. It just wasn't very good.
Yeah. Sometimes fast does not equal good. But yeah, so the guitar that I lent to Todd to give a tryout has one of TV Jones. Well, it's got a classic, which is basically his version of a standard Filtertron, coupled with a Powertron actually a Powertron Plus in the bridge, which is something that TV Jones designed for Billy Gibbons from ZZ Top. So I that's kind of my go-to combination for things in the bridge. I usually put the Powertron Plus and then a standard classic in the neck, and it's a really nice combination, I think. I mean, there's a lot of juice in the Powertron, as you probably found out.
Yeah, I found that it kind of, what I didn't like about it is that it was perfect if you were doing no pedals. I could understand that because it sounded like it was already distorting. Like when I put it with my pedals, I was losing that clarity. I was gaining some not distortion, but I was gaining like an overdriven kind of borderline, like really, really, really low fuzz sound.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's a hot pickup. So
yeah, I would want a not hot pickup then.
Okay, well then you're probably looking at the classic or a classic plus.
Okay. All right, thanks. And a side of fries, please.
Oh, hey, by the way,
yeah,
if you wanted something like that, let me know. I can do those.
All righty. Oh, well, look at that. We got a pickup builder. Who knew? Who knew? All right, gentlemen. Well, we are going to forego the 4 on the floor. Yeah, it's all right. It's all right. Gil just was like, yeah, I'm gonna bypass that, and that's okay. Not everybody does it. Not everybody wants to, and that's a-okay.
Is that a true bypass?
Oh, very good. Very good. Okay. Full 2 points. Begin. So, Gil, you still with us, right? You still there?
I'm still with you. I'm right here.
Perfect. We need to find out a little bit about what you provide to the guitar world. And then I want to dig in a little bit about, we'll start where you are and then we'll kind of work our way backwards. How about that?
Well, start where I am and work backwards. Well, okay, yeah.
So you are making some really excellent guitar cables, and specifically that you're specializing in the coily types. Is that fair to say?
Oh yeah.
Specialize.
Or known for maybe.
Yeah, they're quite popular.
Okay. They're popular, maybe.
a lot of people use our coil cables. It's the same wire though as our straight cable.
Mm-hmm.
We coil our straight cable to make a coil cable. So I think we might be one of the only ones that do that. Most companies buy existing coiled wire.
Really? I didn't know. So that's interesting.
So yeah, that's why ours sound like actual guitar cables, and they're not dark and muddy, which a lot of them can be. Oh man, my whole life is flashing before my eyes right now.
Well, tell you what. I would just, because I have one of these and it was recommended to me. Like the minute we were talking about this, let me give you a little bit of backstory. Since you weren't listening to that episode when we were doing it, I want a curly cable because I'm just tired of having like loops and loops of cable and I need it to move around and go get things and not have to take off my guitar every 2 seconds. Or if I'm on stage, then, I've only got a certain amount of length. I just wanted one.
Sure.
So I said, I'm going to do my diligence and find some. And I looked at several different ones, and I was not pleased with any of them for various reasons. Some of them were just wound to fit over a baseball bat, which I could not figure out. I was like, why on earth is this wine fender? It was just like, this is ridiculous and super heavy and very short. I'm like, what's the point of this? I don't understand. My thing is, and I've used rattlesnake cables for ages, and what I love about Hank's cable is, number one, they're virtually indestructible. They sound great, and they've got the snake head cable that he calls. So he's got a casing on it, a nylon flex kind of casing thing. That goes, yeah. So that goes over it, but the last foot or so isn't wrapped like that. It's just the cable, and so you can slip it under your strap, and it works fantastic. It's got a lot of it's just it's floppy. It's easy to it doesn't get all bound up and everything. So I'm like, why can't I find a curly cable that does this? Because all of them only afford you 6 inches or 5 inches even, and it was just kind of making me nuts. So I said, well, I'll get this other cable that I got that's okay, and it was relatively cheap, so it's probably not the best thing on the planet. And I took a hairdryer to it, and I'm like, I'm going to straighten this out. So I was sitting there I was in the garage, and I hung it up, and I put a weight on it, and the whole thing to keep it straight. And I sat there with a hairdryer and heated it up, and it pretty much worked. But I knew, I was like, this is not the right thing to do, and I want to.
Sounds like a stretched out cord.
Well, kinda.
So you want the tangent, where the piece or the part of a coil cable that is straight before it goes into the coil and before the plug is called a tangent.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So you wanted that. You wanted that long.
Yes, I needed it longer so I could, do the right up under your strap. Gotcha. and all that business.
Yep.
So I was belly aching about it on a show, and got a call from our mutual friend Joe Callio of Seven Horse and everything. He's like, dude, what are you doing? You gotta get a hold of Divine Noise. They got exactly what you were looking for. And I'm like, fantastic, I'll check it out. And he pointed out, he's like, I'm using the 50-50. So I checked out the 50-50, and I was like, that's fantastic. I love that idea. And, because then I don't actually have to have the heavy coil at the guitar. Sure. I can actually have the coil near the pedal board. Sure. It's a brilliant design. And or you could go either way. I've seen, I watched some videos. I've seen it used, in both ways. But, so it's a really, really versatile idea. And you gave enough room in what'd you call that? The thoroughfare avenue?
Tangent.
The bottleneck?
Tangent.
Oh, okay. Right. The switchback.
I bottleneck, he meant tangent.
On the switchback, you get on the tangent, you left enough room. Thank you. I don't know why it boggles my mind. When people make stuff.
There's a fine line between having too much and not enough of a tangent. Sometimes people don't wrap their cable through the strap.
Well, they're doing it wrong, Gil.
I worked for a band for almost 10 years. Yola Tango. They do not do that. And the very first prototype of our curly cable was James McNew's. I made it for him. And it had a really short tangent because he plays a jazz bass and he plugs it in without wrapping it through the cable. So the tangent's really short because you don't want it too long because then it's going to
if you have a top mount, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. So it's finding a place where it's not too long. So people that don't wrap their straps, are going to be happy with it. And and having enough of a long enough tangent that people that wrap it through the straps are happy. So it's
I get it.
Yeah,
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So you also have the regular curly cables, which is like curly from end to end, with some tangent, which sounds like you are still affording a decent amount of tangent on at least one of those ends.
They both sides have 10
Both
inches.
sides have the thoroughfare we need.
Well,
and it comes in purple, Jared.
I think the reason why the tangents weren't very long before is, what's the whole reason why you wrap that thing around and do the wrappy thing anyway? To what? To avoid pulling the cord out if you step on it, right?
Yeah, for the most part.
On a curly cord, you have all that buoyancy from the boinging of the curliness of the cord.
Yes.
You have all that less
and weight.
elasticity. Yeah. So I think that's probably why it wouldn't be so terrible if you stepped on the cord with a curly cord. I think that's why. But if there was enough tangent, I would just do the same thing. I would wrap it around too.
Yeah.
Because that's just what you do.
Yeah.
I'm interested. You mentioned that a lot of curled cables coily cables sound dark.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now,
and that's just due from using a high capacitance wire, a kind of a cheaper wire that. But since ours is made from our guitar cable, it has a much lower capacitance than those other coil cables.
Mm-hmm.
And it's 30 feet of cable. Well, ours is 30 feet. Curly cables are, anywhere from 20 to 30 feet. And, that's a lot of wire, especially if you're using a high capacitance wire. It can sound really dark. That's why, is because of all that wire.
Well, and to be clear, it's not 30 feet as coiled. No. It's shorter. You are using 30 feet of wire, but it's coming out to like 20.
5.5 feet.
It's coiled up.
5.5 feet retracted. So the coil cable's not being pulled. That's it being retracted, and that's brand new. So it's you can probably pull it at 20 feet.
Any more than that, you just need a wireless, right? I mean,
yeah, they get pulled and tugged, and they still last forever.
Yeah.
We have curly cables that have been on the road for over 10 years that that still are great. And yeah, the only way when we first started, people were asking for us to do a coil cable. And the only way I would do it is if I could do it with our wire, so it sounded good and that it was reliable. Because at the time, we're talking 2009, there weren't really many reliable coil cables on the market.
Mm-hmm.
So
still aren't.
Yeah. So that's the only way I would do it. And, it's so rare that there's ever an issue with our cables. And
they come in multicolor. So like Jared can get his purple one.
Yeah.
You got guitar knobs orange. I see you've got the white one for ones that want white cables. And red and black.
Doing the Jimi Hendrix thing.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Let me add, when I was a kid, my dad had a couple of these curly cables around, but his were from the early 70s. And I remember when I was 10 or 11, when I was first starting to play electric guitar, he pulled a few of those out for me. And over the years, I think they finally started to short out, and I remember going to fix those, and man, the insulation and they were so stinking heavy duty. That was really, really thick, rubbery plastic material, whatever they used, some sort of cancer causing material back then.
Jeez.
And
it's asbestos.
They were super heavy duty, and yes, they did last forever. But I wish I still had those curly cords from, 1971 or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure by now they probably would have been pretty oxidized.
Yeah.
The copper in it.
Yeah, yeah.
Is that why cables tend to go out? Is that what's the number one reason that people go like, no, my cable don't work no more?
Poor solder joints.
Yeah.
Improperly soldered, breaks at the solder connection a lot of
Gotcha.
times. We get a lot of people that, that'll email us. I just got one today, in fact. Oh, my cables don't work. Okay, well, let's bypass everything. Let's troubleshoot it and bypass the pedal board and plug it directly into the amp. Because, these days, a lot of pedal manufacturers and guitar manufacturers, they use really cheap jack, especially, with pedals. So when we get someone that has an issue, it's like, I want to make sure that, we're bypassing as much as possible as far as, the signal. I just want to go directly into the amp. And, 9 times out of 10, it's, a bad jack somewhere. Or the oxidation is another really, really big thing where if you're hearing crackling, a lot of times it's oxidation on the plugs themselves. If you go to our YouTube channel, there's a video on there of my wife, Nicole, who's the other half of Divine Noise. It has her demonstrating how to clean your plugs.
Oh.
It's such an overlooked thing. Making sure there's no oxidation on the plugs. If you haven't done it in a long time, try it, and I guarantee you will hear a difference.
Well, probably with your actual guitar jack too. I mean, those rust notoriously.
Absolutely. So, especially with being a touring guitar tech, a former touring guitar tech, I would maybe once every 6 months or once every few months, I would take out all the cables and clean them, clean the plugs with deoxit and spray it in there, and make sure that there's no corrosion or oxidation on them. And it always sounds a lot better. Mm-hmm. So it's something that people might want to try if their cable's crackling or whatnot. Is try cleaning the plug and making sure that there's no.
Well, and aside from your curly cables and the 50/50 cable, which I encourage everybody to go check out. We'll throw that out again, thedivinenoise.com. Or
divinenoise.com.
Or divinenoise.com. Did I say got Tom?
Yeah.
Wow. I got Tom. You got Tom. So you also make a host of other things like straight cables and tech flex cables and teeny cables and speaker cables and combo amp speaker cables and XLR and TRS cables. So basically you need a cable, you can handle that.
Absolutely. All of our cables are all proprietary. I designed all of them over the years. I don't sell it in bulk. I don't sell our cables in bulk. The biggest thing is that it has my name on it. So I want to make sure it's built properly. My biggest fear is that someone will have a bad cable and they look, oh, it's a Divine Noise. These are crap. Well, if I were to start selling it in bulk, anyone could build it, and then it would.
Sure. Yeah. That's not good. We don't need that.
So it's all about quality control with us. We're kind of obsessed with quality control.
I like that.
In the 12 years that we've been in business, I've made every single Divine Noise cable.
Wow.
So regardless of where you see it, if it's, in a shop, one of our dealers in Australia, or, on Nels Klein's guitar, or, regardless of where you see it.
Or Jeff Schroeder's guitar.
Jeff Schroeder's guitar, absolutely.
Or Joe Collio's guitar.
Yeah, I've made every single one.
Now, you mentioned you were touring guitar tech. Let's talk a little bit about that, because I think, if nothing else, aside from it just being interesting, that is the kind of thing that sets you up to make the decisions that go into a great piece of gear like the one that you're building.
Absolutely.
I mean, my biggest thing is for a cable not to fail. The thing I hated the most when I was a touring guitar tech was having something fail and having to go out in front of, hundreds to thousands of people and fix something. Because it's, you have to really you have to.
It breaks the vision.
It breaks it. Yes, it breaks that because as a guitar tech, you don't really want to be seen. That it's not your show; it's the band's show. So
right. It's like when you see the boom mic come down in like the movies that Tony watches.
Exactly. It ruins the mood, if you will.
Well, can't you give anyone a break, Todd?
No.
Was that something that you started doing when you were touring? I know that this is somewhat of I don't know if it's a common thing, but it's a somewhat known thing, at least to me. I'm sure everybody knows more. But if you're touring and you're in charge of, a stable of instruments and all the parts that go with it, at some point you're like, if I'm controlling it, I know what this is doing. Is that when you started building cables?
It was probably before that, when I was just a broke musician in the mid-'90s that couldn't afford cables or couldn't afford to buy brand new cables and had to repairs and fix things. And what you take care of is kind of your world. And you want to make sure everything is taken care of. And before I started, I didn't really have anyone that I could call and say, hey, make this exactly like this and ship it out. I would have to make it myself.
Right.
Because I knew that if I did it, it was done correctly. And, it's just, it's kind of a control thing. And I don't like leaving anything to chance.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's a common theme that we've heard with the likes of Drew Foppy. We've had him on talking about that several times, and just the quality control and how important it is that just like your name is on your cable, his name is the show going well, and so was yours at that time. So it sounds like you have a similar ethos there.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, when it's your career, when it's, how you live, the most important thing to you is your name, because it doesn't take too many bad shows or whatever. Things get around, you get a reputation so you want to take care of everything, and you want to make sure everything is as best as it can be, really taking your job serious.
So, Gil, I really appreciate you going through all of the notables about these cables, and I really do encourage people to go check them out. I got one myself, and I really, really like it. I'm going to actually let Tony check it out as well. He was curious about it.
I was. I think we talked a couple episodes back in when I was playing a lot more in the 80s, I had an old Whirlwind half and half cable.
Yeah, that's where the half and half thing got started.
Yeah.
I think it was called a Constrictor.
It might have been, yeah.
That's kind of how ours came to be. Was someone that worked at True Tone Guitars in LA asked me if I could build something like that, and I had no idea the dimensions, so I kind of based it on our curly and made them 30 feet, and it really did come in handy. Although it eventually did. I think the end broke on it because of if I had that end plugged into the amp as opposed to going to a pedal, it would the weight of the coil would pull down on it considerably. Sure.
Yeah. Sure. Well, that's pretty cool, man. I appreciate that. Everybody needs to go check that out, divinenoise.com, and get yourself into one of these here cables, and any one of the types that they offer. You don't have to go get the 50/50 if you don't want to. Get a different kind. Surprise yourself. We're going to mosey on over to Jared's house.
That's right. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for our little favorite game, which nobody wins except me, called Would You Rather?
That's a nice one, Jared.
Yeah, thank you. This week's Would You Rather. You're walking down the street.
Gosh,
and you
that hurts.
And you run into your good old buddy, Claudio Cunha. And Claudio has a question for you.
So
He's
you're
like,
in Brazil?
It's where you are.
Okay, so we're in Brazil.
Yeah, it's
Sounds
awesome
like.
food, by the way.
Yeah.
He's like, hey man, I got a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
So, say your favorite guitarist that has passed away, right? So, a dead guitarist that is gone.
Yeah. Well, yes. Synonymous with passed away. This is going well.
And not coming back to life. Would you?
Thanks
would
for
you
the
rather,
clarification.
But however, would you rather resurrect your favorite dead guitarist for a tiny private concert, one night only, and then they go back to being dead, or have your chosen artist's most iconic guitar forever? So you either get him back for one night only, or you get to just have their guitar forever.
For some artists, I think this would be depending on who you're choosing, this could be very difficult, actually.
You need to choose, in this would you rather, I'm going to go ahead and say that you must choose one of your absolute favorite guitarists.
Okay.
That are dead.
That or dead.
All right.
Yep.
Thank you. Oh, this is a good one. This is a really good one. We're going to start with Tony, hit Jared, swing over to Gil, and I'll wrap it up.
The question is, if we bring them back to life for one day, would they still be able to play
I knew you were
guitar?
going to ask that. I knew you were going to make it like a zombie thing.
Well, yeah, they do a one night only private concert.
Yeah, just as they were. They're like, oh, hey, this is sweet.
So it's not like a bag of bones.
In their prime.
Yeah, in their flesh.
So
in the flesh. And they don't
John Lennon.
smell. They don't smell of
Tony, John Lennon.
rotting flesh.
Yeah.
Right.
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 Well, which version in their prime?
In their prime. Yes.
Okay.
Whatever their prime was.
Gotcha.
Okay. Tony.
Okay. Wow. Boy, that's, so yeah, the whole, the John Lennon thing definitely comes to mind. And, we've actually had that, I think, as an option to have that guitar hit one of his ricks. But I was so devastated, what was it? 40 years ago.
Yeah, 1980.
Yeah. And I would probably give anything to have, even if it's just for one night, to have John Lennon back to play a show, not even play a show, just to hang out and tip a few beers with.
Mm-hmm.
Not that I ever did that before, but since this is a would you rather, I think I would take that experience over having a guitar that belonged to that person. Yeah, any day of the week.
Yeah, I can dig that. I knew you were going to say that, and I knew exactly how that was going to go down.
Yeah,
but that's because we knew each other. I appreciate that. Jared, how about Jared?
I guess if I could have my dad back, because he's one of my favorite guitarists, I would burn every guitar I inherited for him to just have him come back for one more night.
All right,
but let me.
Yeah, that's your dad. That's like
I had to say that though, because
I know you
that's
did.
really what I have in my heart. But Jimi Hendrix, man, I would rather just be able to meet him, shake his hand, and talk to him, and listen to him play for one night, and then have the guitars go back to.
What guitar would he be playing?
Actually, he'd be playing his SG Custom, the white SG Custom, 3 pickups. SG Custom, kind of like the one I described tonight, except for it's white and not ugly brown poo. But yeah, I would like to hear him play that guitar and just watch him in the flesh play and sing
using a white curly cable.
That's right. Yep, made by Gil.
All right. So, Gil, how about yourself?
Man, I'm still thinking. I would have to say I would rather have the guitar because you can hear them play on record. You can see most people. You can see them play concerts, recorded. But the guitar, that's, I'm going to say I'd rather have the guitar.
Okay.
Yeah, it'd be great seeing, Jesus.
You chose the guitar.
Yeah.
So whose guitar would it be?
Oh man,
Tony Orlando's.
Yeah. He's still alive, by the way, I think. Who's guitar? Oh man. One of Lead Belly's old Stella 12 strings would be really cool.
Yeah.
Man, there are a lot of dead guitar players.
Terry Cass.
One of Johnny Ramone's Mosrites.
Oh, that'd be something. All right.
Yeah. I mean, geez, there's not that I'm a huge Ramones fan. I'm a big fan of Mosrites, but yeah, that so many guitars, so many dead people. It's hard to choose.
Yeah.
But definitely the guitar. I would definitely use the.
Interesting.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of shows, and I've worked at a lot of shows, and although it'd be great to see, say Jimi Hendrix play.
Yeah.
I can watch it on video and still have a guitar after. You get the guitar is going to last longer. You get one night.
Yeah, that's true.
This person.
And there's also
Van Halen.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
And there's always the danger of meeting one of your idols and being crushed and disappointed.
Yes. Forever, I would repeat. Why did you bring me back? You brought me back.
Yeah. All right. I think I might surprise you guys here. This one I struggled with a little bit. I kind of vacillated on a couple different things, but when I came down to it, when I was going through them, I hit this one and I got my heartstrings kind of pulled a little bit. And I would definitely want to have a private show with Tom Petty. I would need that would be the thing for sure. I would be an emotional mess for sure. But
hey, we saw him live together the last time.
We sure did. And he would be playing probably his
on
the what is it? How about the 340 Fireglow?
Oh,
which one? The one that's on the cover? That's a
660, isn't it?
Yeah, 620, 660,
whatever
it takes.
But no, I like the bigger one. I like the big. Yeah, I like the bigger one. So.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Yeah.
Everybody likes the bigger one, right?
Yeah. Well, hey-o. Anyhow, so that's what I would do. I think, for sure.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah. Anyways,
so Gil is on his own island this time.
Yeah.
I'm usually on an island by myself.
Well, it's kind of hard thinking about it'd be cool to have somebody come back, but I'm like, there's got to be an emotional connection there.
Yeah.
It can't just be because, it can, I suppose you could make it do whatever you want, but that's where because I was going with the guitar, but then I was like, no, that wouldn't, because even now there's some songs I'll be making dinner and I'll hear that, or I'll be driving and it's it just tugs on the heart because
nobody likes anybody else that has somebody's I don't like Metallica, what's his name?
Kirk Hammett.
I've liked that guy forever until he had, ended up with Peter Green's Les Paul.
Oh, that's right.
No, it just you don't belong having that guitar.
What? Why not? Guy's got all the money in the world. Why can't he have that?
Said so.
No, because he has it. He shouldn't have it.
Why?
Because I just don't like it.
So
I actually saw him last year, but nice guy.
Yeah,
but I don't know.
Next time you see him, you should tell him that.
All
right, everybody, we're going to so we got to thank a few people, and then we're going to wrap this little ditty up here. Tony Baloney.
Or do we have some people to thank?
Take your time, Tony.
Okay, thanks, Jared. I think I will. I'm going to stretch this a little bit.
Yeah, let's not.
At this point of the show, there's a special group of people that we love to thank. These are our executive producers, and these folks help make this podcast possible. If you would like to become an executive producer, head over to patreon.com/The Guitar Knobs. You can find a couple different levels in which you can participate, and there's plenty of great thank you gifts, including things like T-shirts and barefoot buttons and stickers and picks and, oh, geez, all the good stuff. Keychains. Did I say keychains? Yes, I did. All the good stuff comes your way. But there's a very special level, our executive producers. In addition to all that great stuff, they get one more thing. What is that, Jared?
They have their name read on the thing.
Name read on the thing. That's what I'm going to do right now. So a special thanks to Mr. Tom Barazin, Martin Cliff, John Daly, Chris Carney, Darren Gregory, Doug Christ, Michael Van Zant, Ken Sayers, Brian Robison, Michael Senchuk, Stefan Lamb, Johnny Knowles, Anthony Lathrop, John Anglin, Tyler Bray, Brad Partridge, Chris Heidel, John Esterly, Doug Gann, Justin Jones, Brett Alexander, James White, Matt Hart, Liam Martin, James Pennington, Richard Kendall, Ty Carmen, John Williams, Michael DeLucio, John Jackson, Jason Roush, David Dando, Douglas King, Gary Cooper, Tyler Raines, and Rob Saxby.
Right on.
Oh, wait, there's more.
Yes.
Just when you thought I was finished. No, there's the upper echelon executive producers. We like to call them our grand poobahs. They get a special fez to wear while listening to the podcast.
That's right.
So special thanks to these grand poobahs. Jonathan Jerusik, Corey Nigro, David Kaminga, Cody Lane, Cody Foster, Sean S.
Yes.
Tommy Manasco, Mark Garton, Adam Johnson, Steve Keys, and Tim Nowak. A tip of the fez to y'all.
Right on. Thank you so very much. So, Gil, where can people find you to get your stuff? Let's tell them one more time, will we?
People can find me in our shop in the backyard of our property, Portland, Oregon. I'm there. I don't leave.
Me either,
if I'm
but-
not in the house, I'm in the shop, which is most of the time, especially late at night. You can find me working. You can find our cables at a lot of independent retailers around the world. You can find out which retailers have them at divinenoise.com on the dealers thing. You can, if you don't want to go through dealers, if you just have to go through us, which is fine. With us, there's always a wait. Generally, there's always a turnaround where our dealers, if they have it in stock, they have it in stock, and you can get it.
So you can get it quick, fast, in a hurry.
Yes. With us, like I said, I'm still catching up from the holiday rush. So
nice.
You can find us at divinenoise.com.
Tony Baloney, how about yourself?
Just head over to pickguardian.com. Check out some of the stuff that I have available, things you can order right from the website. But by and large, what I do is custom work. So get a hold of me, shoot me an email, let me know what you need. I'll be happy to take care of you.
That's
Excellent.
right. Tony is my local pickguard maker guy.
And Jared is my local pickup maker guy.
Which you can find at brandonwoundpickups.com. We make new stuff that looks old and new stuff that looks new. What do you know?
And old stuff that looks old.
That's right. We do, and those are our restorations, our rewinds. You can watch episodes of Rewind Time with Brandon Wound Pickups.
Oh, hey, Jared, whose pickups are you going to put into that SG?
Yeah, I don't know. Either mine or Gibson's. One of the other.
How about some screen tops?
Yeah, I could do that too.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that.
It's purple sparkle. I don't know. What do you think I should do? I don't know. What do you think I should do, Tony?
Bring it out.
Yeah.
I'll call Jason Lawler, see if he can hook me up.
Right on.
Yeah.
Excellent.
He's a good-
make sure you go check out Jared's pickups because they are pretty sweet.
Yeah, the New York Jared accent.
Yeah,
Man.
it's gonna stick. It's gonna be a thing. You're gonna be going through NAMM and everyone's gonna go Jared. Anyways, you can drop me an email, Todd at theguitarknobs.com. You can also send me a DM on Instagram at guitarknobs, and I'll be sure to share out whatever you have to say with the two fellas here. Yep. And we want to say a ginormous thank you to Gil Divine for joining us tonight and talking about his awesome cables.
Thank you for having me, guys. I don't do things like this often, just so it was very nice to.
It makes it sound dirty.
Yeah, it was quite painless. Thank you very much for that.
Good.
That's what we shoot for.
Yeah. All right. I will wish everyone, along with my two co-hosts, Tony and Jared, whom I love and respect, to have a great guitar week.
All right. What do you need now, Todd?
We'll talk later. And subscribe!
I wonder where Tony Baloney is.
Wow, you sound fantastic.
Wow, thank you.
Yeah.
Must be the mic on the MacBook Pro.
Or your swarthy voice. I'm not really sure. Jared, you're so full of information.
I know.
Tony Baloney's usually right on time.
There's not a lot of steak or, pizza or good shit like that. It's all veggies, chicken,
lasagna.
It's all dog.
So wait, you're saying in Korea there's not a lot of pizza? You shrinking?
Yes, on that keto stuff. Yeah, I've lost about 12, 13 pounds.
Yeah,
so.
And an inch in height. That's amazing.
There's no sandwiches.
Yeah, but I haven't heard that, so it's funny to me.
Yeah, it's usual.
Jared.
Oh, Tony Baloney. No lasagna.
Well, that's it for these knobs. Please visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/theguitarknobs. Visit our website at theguitarknobs.com for all of our past episodes, 4 on the Floor blog, and other good stuff. You can connect with us on social too at our Facebook page and share your gear and stories on our Facebook group. Also, be sure to check out our Instagram at guitarknobs. Catch you next time.